Good afternoon, YouTubers. Welcome back to the channel. I'm on my long weekend, and I've been working on the truck for about a day or so now, trying to get the air horns and airbags to, well, the system to pump it up working. I said last video that I was going to try to get it, but it turns out that I was missing quite a bit of crucial parts, and I didn't have a tap that would fit the manifold. Well, now I have it all set up. I just did a test, checked for leaks. I still have a few that I can't get out because just of how the fittings are set up. God damn. I got some glare here. But I'll show you what I've got. So we've got a compressor from an 88 to I think 92 or 98 version Chevy truck. And then, like I said on the last video, I made a manifold, took the original one off, cut the hoses off, welded them up, and then put two new fittings on the backside of it. So this is just 1/4-inch NPT fittings down to ignore the copper. This is temporary just to see if this system will actually work. I want to do high pressure hydraulic style hoses later. That will go from 1/4-inch over to that side, but this is just to check the system, and if this works, yeah, for the long term, I may leave it. It's a temporary permanent fix. So anyway, goes to a 3/8 copper line, goes over to the black one is my de-oiler, and then the oiler is the gold one. So this is I think this one's intake, this one's exhaust. So goes over, goes through that. So right now I've got it kind of hodgepodge set up to a air compressor switch. So we can go over here. So through my conglomerate of fittings, I go intake, oiler, goes through, goes over to the compressor, comes back, goes de-oiler, which is on the back side here, goes down to a check valve, goes into a T, comes back up to my air compressor switch, which then kicks or disengages the clutch at the moment. So then it goes from there. One side of another T goes up to this gauge so I can see it from up here if I ever need any maintenance on it. So I've got a gauge here, and then the other one goes down to a high pressure, well, I'm using propane line. That's what I've got on hand. It's a 3/8 propane line, good to 300 psi, not ever like I'm going to see it there. It goes along the long side of the truck, comes up to flip you around here, my tank, which is sitting kind of comfortably in its in the old battery spot. So under here, the hose comes up and wraps around. There's a blow off on the other side, and then it just pumps up. And then when I'm not seeing it, then it's tucked up and out of the way. However, my gauge is kind of in the road, so I might have to take this gauge and put it on the back side, and then so I could actually close the damn door. So no big deal. But that's basically what it is. So fire this peg up. So the thing should be disengaged. So this should get up to about 120, and that should kick out. kicked out. So what is that? Just a little over 120 on the gauge, and that kicks out. Like I said, I do have a leak on here, but it's so inconsistent, it's not funny. So when this drops down, I think to about 90 or 100, it'll kick back in. So I'm quite impressed with that. So all I have to do now is just get some air compressor oil, and I can fill this thing up, and it will work just like the way it was before. So who says YouTube can't give you some ideas? Like, I watched another gentleman do this, and he says, oh yeah, it works fine. Well, I was skeptical, but I figured, what the hell? Well, there you go. It's a lot better looking than some of the ones I've seen. They just use their old rubber hoses and some other fittings, and then kind of hose clamp the thing together, but I didn't want to do that, so this is how we're going to do it. And that's basically it for me for today. I got some other crap to do. Shut this thing off. Whew, stinky. So the other things I've done, and I gotta get to doing, is there's my cup holder. 21-hour print on the 3D printer. It will sit like so. It sticks over a little bit, but I gotta print another piece for it. So that goes like nya. And then removable gauge panel fits on the top. Oh, that's upside down. There we go. So it'll sit like so. And the gauges I have from the previous one, the 3 gauges there, will fit into this. And then on the bottom side, since I have an inverter sitting in this thing, I have a spot for a plug. And it used to sit down at the bottom there, and it was kind of an eyesore, and it was this big silver thing. And it used to sit on the floor, screwed to the floor. And then the cord just ran underneath. Well, now, same principle, faces forward. So now it should work a little bit better. Kind of the same deal. Good for, I think, 600 ml bottles. I kind of fucked it up, though. Yeah, here. I had to make a fix. A friend of mine kind of gave me the idea. He says, I call him Newfie. But as you can see, well, maybe you can see, in the bottom of that, it's nice and solid and no problems. Well, the second one, not so much. You can see through that. On the CAD program I used, it shows it as a solid piece. I never even thought about checking the depth of it. So the depth on this one is 18 millimeters. The depth on this one is 0.7 of a millimeter. The nozzle I used to print this was 1 millimeter. So it's thinner than the nozzle that it was printing it. So as you can see, there is a significant difference between the two bottoms. That one's solid, that one's not. So, not to print another one, he gave me the idea, well, just make a hockey puck, slip it into the hole, and epoxy the prick in place. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this piece here, since it's smooth, well, kind of semi-smooth on one side, but it's tapered. So I'm going to get some 5-minute epoxy. I'm going to drop this in there. I'm going to schmoo the shit out of it, and that will fix this little problem. This is removable if I decide to later on change the gauge's location. If I don't like where they are and they're blinding me or whatever the case may be, I can just make a different plate for here, and that's that. So the other thing is my cubby hole's finished. So this is the cubby hole. I built it in 2 pieces. The bottom side is held in by 6 screws. It's only 5 in there now. But it's held in by that, just in case there's shit at the bottom and I need to clean it out. And then 1 cigarette lighter plug from a Ford. That is separate from everything else. So this thing is fairly deep. It'll hold this phone down there and then have a little bit sticking up so I can charge it. So that will sit, if I like so. And since I broke it, stupid me, kind of got a little manhandled with it, so I got to print a new one. But that's the deck. I got to open up the hole a little bit more. So the deck will sit in chabot like that and be held in by 4 screws. I was thinking of super gluing that at the moment, and then I can get it kind of in place, because the rest of it's still good. It'll hold it up, so I might end up just doing that, and that will sit in that hole. And then later on, I think I'll make another 2 cup holders, or maybe 3, depending on how many I can get in the back here, and then bolt them to the back, so I can have more cup holders down there. This truck, it had a center console, but only had basically 2 cup holders, and I didn't really like them. And since I put this in here, the center console is pretty much useless anyway, because it takes up all the way to the dash, and you can't put a standard in unless you get the proper one. Well, these trucks don't normally get equipped with standards, so it's hard to find the parts you want for a standard. So I don't have like the center seat console. I have this, so I made my own. The other thing is the DVR is now behind this. The screen's in place for my little touchscreen, and it's kind of screwed into place. I got a what the hell you call it? The piece that fits in here, I've got it remade. I actually have to reprint it because I found out how many actual LEDs this thing displays to give you information. So it's actually 3 LEDs, one's power, one's record, and one is the SD, and I think 2 flash. So if I don't mark them, nobody will notice. And then the 4th one I have is the IR. So I'm going to make that up and then reprint it, because I need to get some new holes in it. And then I can put that in place, and then I can redo basically everything inside. So that's basically what I've been up to the last 2 days. Not a whole hell of a lot. And I still got to go out to the camper, and I got to get the computer into it. I think that's what I'm actually going to go do right now, because I'm kind of at a standstill with this one until I get that tank mounted, which I'm actually going to do right now, and then go out and work on the camper. And it's a minor thing, just throw some cables at the computer, get it all situated in place, and then screw it home. The hard drive dock actually works now. You can take your hard drive in the little cubby hole I have, slide it in, and you can actually hear the computer mount it, basically. Goddamn glare. I need to clean my phone. So, yeah, so the Sunsure one that I've got, so the computer's on the top, cubby hole, and then I got the PS3. So the cubby hole one, I can slide the drive into now. Don't have to worry about pulling cables or anything like that. I can just cassette the thing, kicks in, you need a blue, and away she goes. And I've got Velcro in there just to give it a little bit of resistance, so it won't fall out when you're banging down the road. So yeah, I think that's about it for now. Just a little bit of update. So onward and upward, I guess. I'll catch you on the next video. Later.